beloved students, greetings to one and all. It gives me immense pleasure and joy to meet you all the people with the help of this particular video class. I, Rupa Kollipara, Assistant Professor from the Department of Commerce and Management, joins with you all in order to share with you a beautiful topic from the current running semester, Sem 5, related subject so-called organizational behavior. Yes, in this particular session, I'm just going to cover the introduction aspects of organizational behavior, and also let us go a bit deep into the organizational behavior subject related aspects. Well, when we notice the subject headline itself, the subject headline consists of two different words. One is the organization and the other is behavior. So first in this session, I'm just going to speak about, and together we are going to learn about what is all behavior and how behaviors can be studied and how we can understand the behavior of the people in the organization. Dear students, when we notice the people, not all the people in the world look similar. When we just take a bit pause, when we look around towards the people whom we look around are quite different from one another. They are not alike, they are not one and the similar, they are not the same way. People differ obviously in million ways. Yes, I give you a small example. Say for example, when the 5 fingers of our own hand doesn't look similar, even a bit odd for us, a bit unfair for us to be each and everyone to be the same, each and every individual to be the same. Likewise, I just give you one more example. Say for example, when we look at our own siblings at our very own home, though they have come from same biological parents, our siblings different or different in every aspect. Say for example, in terms of appearance, in terms of the strength, the physical strength they possess, in terms of mental capabilities, in terms of the behavior, how they behave and all. Yes, again I tell you, people are not alike, they are not same, they are not similar. People differ from one to another. In a million ways, individual differences are crept in each and every individual. And this idea of people differ in million ways is not just in terms of biological aspects, and this is not something I, being a teacher, I'm telling you, but people differ in different ways. This idea is being supported by science even. Yes, the general scientists as well as the behavioral scientists, after just conducting thorough analysis, thorough research, experimentation process, they come to a point of conclusion that people are not alike, they are not the same, and they differ in many aspects. Individual differences are crept when we notice the people's behavior or when we notice the biological aspects of the people. And not only just the outward appearances differ, even when it comes for their personality traits, even when it comes for their behavioral traits, people also differ from one to another in terms of their psychological aspects too even. Say for example, people are different from one to another, the way how they behave, the way how they react to the circumstances, the way how they react to the external inputs whenever they receive. Their psychological ideologies differ, their psychological patterns differ, the way how they act, react as well as interact to the external sensory information whenever they receive obviously will differ from one to another. I give you one more example. Say for example, whenever a sensory information is being received by individuals of a particular team, say for example 10 members, and the same common information when they receive, say for example with the help of sensory organs like eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin, and the common information is being shared for them as in the form of inputs, the way they perceive them, the way they receive the sensory inputs, the way they interpret, the way they analyze, the way they understand is quite different from one individual to the other. As people are different from one to another, they are not alike, they are not the same, not only just in terms of biological aspects but even in terms of psychological aspects too. So it is very important to study an individual in terms of their physical traits as well as in terms of their personality or inward psychological patterns too. It is very important to study. So this is all about behavior to the one side of the coin. When we flip the same coin and notice towards the other end of the coin, the subject headline consists of the other word so-called organization. Yes, organizations, specifically the business organizations, are in need of people because in order to get the things done, in order to reach the goal on time. In order to land up at success, the organizations recruit the people into their own concerns, whom we call precious asset of the company. And modern organizations are more highly diversified in nature, where they started to recruit people even from multiple nations across the globe. I mean, from different cultures, from different backgrounds, from different societal values, from different geographical locations and all. So it is very important for the concerned companies or business organizations to learn about, to study how to study the behavioral patterns of the individuals with whom they are about to work, so that it will be easy for the organizations or the concerned team heads or superiors to handle them pretty well. In simple to say, to precise all these two words and putting together, organizational behavior stands for, in simple to say, the study of human behavior in the context of a business organization, and specifically in relation with the workplace dynamics is simply referred to as organizational behavior study. Yes, this organizational behavior, in case of this particular area or a discipline of study, we deeply peep into the aspects that are related to people, how they behave in the organizations when the work is being assigned for them, how they react to it, how they react to the instructions when there is a set of instructions, and how they act, how they go for decision making, how they interpret the things, and how they understand, how they perceive the things, and when training has been given for them, how they are able to perform. All these things we will study under this organizational behavior. That too, keeping in view of organizational context, we study the aspects of human behavior. And in other words to say, organizational behavior explores more of people's behavior as an individual, as a group, or as a team, and also within the organization. And it also studies about how the organizational hierarchy or organizational structures will affect with different authoritative levels, will affect the behavioral patterns, will able to influence them to get the desired outcomes in terms of human behavior. In simple words to say, the study of organizational behavior investigates the interplay that happens between the individuals, between the teams or groups, as well as within the organization. Now let us go a bit forward and let us look over to the aspects of organizational behavior. See, dear students, when we study about the subject organizational behavior, the very first aspect what we study is, we study the behavior of the peoples at individual level, and then at group level or team level, and then at an organizational level. So firstly, I'm just going to tell you about at individual level what we study. The behavior of a one particular individual is called as studying about the isolated behaviors of individual. What is this isolated behavior? See, whenever we pick a particular individual and we study the traits of the individual, we study the characteristic features of that particular individual, not just in terms of outward appearance, but even in terms of their own inward personality or inward behavior. When we deeply peep into the traits, inward traits of a concerned individual, when we study on one-to-one basis, when we study about a single particular individual, we call it as isolated behavior, studying about the isolated behavior of individualism. And in relevance with organizational context, studying of isolated behavior is so important, because as a team manager or as a superior, when the people are being assigned a particular job to be done on very independent basis, ఇండిపెండెంట్గా ఒక వర్క్ కంప్లీట్గా చేయాలి అన్నట్లయితే కనుక, మచ్ బిఫోర్ అసైనింగ్ ద టాస్క్ టు దట్ పర్టికులర్ ఇండివిజువల్, the superiors will study about the plus points, whether they are well able to handle it independently or not. They study about the minus points of that particular individual. They go for more of interactive skills. They go for more of the levels of, they study about the levels of perception. They study about the way how they can able to interpret, how they go for analyzing that particular task. I mean to say, the analytic skills, the communication skills, as well as the decision making skills plays a key role, crucial role, specifically when the work is assigned and the work has to be done by a particular individual on very independent basis. So it is important for organizations to study about the potentialities, the individual capabilities, the individual expertise, knowledge, if at all a task has been an individual has to be done very independently. So this is all about studying the isolated behavior of particular individual. Now let us move forward for group behavior. So what is this group behavior and how we can study? See, group behavior plays a utmost crucial role when a set of activities has to be done cooperating with the team. So it highlights more on team effort or group effort. It highlights more on the support of team members. Suppose a project has been assigned for a particular team and it has to be done cooperating, extending cooperation of one individual to another, or a coordination where coordination of activities has to happen between and among various teammates. The way how you interact with your team, the way how you maintain communication with your team without erasing any communication gap, the way how you analyze, how you participate in decision making plays a key role or crucial role in terms of studying about the group behavior of the individuals. And also specifically to say, group cohesiveness plays a very crucial part in this particular studying up of group behavior. So what is this cohesiveness? When we look into the term so-called group cohesiveness, we can call it as the degree to what extent the team members are attracted to each other towards the common goal. The degree to what extent the team members are well able to understand between and among themselves within the context of an organization in terms of common goal has to be achieved. The degree to what extent people understand each other, stand for each other in order to achieve the goal on time basis. So in order to finish the work as a team, together as a team, here unity should prevail, oneness should reflect, and this all these things can be studied under group behavior. Now let us move a bit forward and look at organizational level. At organizational level, we have to study the subject organizational behavior because organization consists of different organization structure itself consists of different hierarchies. At each and every hierarchy there will be a job role with assigned duties and responsibilities. Also some authority will be assigned. So this is in order to assign a particular individual a particular role, it is so important to study whether they are well able to handle it or not. And likewise, in order to go for making up of right person into the right job, when we are about to place them, when we are about to when we are about to make the positions fill the right person for right job, it is so important to study the behavior of individuals whether they are well able to handle it or not. Next, let us go for some aspects of organizational behavior. Firstly, organizational behavior aspect is systematic study. So what we do in case of organizational behavior, how we study the behavior of the individuals, how we study the group behavior of individual. We don't study the behavior of individuals on vague terms. We don't go for we don't go for on ambiguity nature. We don't say it on a rough term that he is good, he is bad, he is talented. No, not like so. But actually we go for and conduct a systematic study, systematic observation. After a series of systematic study, systematic observation, and we come to a point of understanding, and we just go for almost usage of scientific methods and tools in order to predict the behaviors of the people in the organization. So this is what we call as, with the help of scientific methods and tools, we go for making study of systematic study of people's behavior in the organization. Yes, and next aspect, let us look forward. Organizational behavior is all interdisciplinary in nature, and even I can say it is multidisciplinary in nature too, because whatsoever the concepts that we study under the subject so-called organizational behavior, they are incorporated from the areas or disciplines of other related subjects too. Say for example, from the social sciences subjects like psychology, sociology, anthropology. Likewise, even from management sciences too, we draw certain concepts in order to study the behavior, especially into the context of organizations, business related organizations. I give a small example. Say for example, if at all we just want to motivate any individual in the organization, might be monetary or non-monetary basis. These concepts are drawn from, the concepts of motivation are drawn from the subject so-called psychology. Likewise, group behaviors can be studied from sociology. the group patterns of the behaviors can be studied from psychology. Likewise, in order to complete the task, in order to achieve organizational success or organizational effectiveness, we study the subject, we go through and study the subject so called management sciences. So not only just from one discipline or one area of study, but multiple concepts from multiple disciplines or multiple area of studies are covered or incorporated or can be drawn from other subjects too, and hence the subject organizational behavior is what we call as multidisciplinary in nature, as multiple concepts are drawn from multiple subjects. Next step. Now let us study how practically studying of organizational behavior helps for the organizations or helps for people working in the organizations, and what is the practical usage or significance of studying this subject, organizational behavior. Let us explore more. The very first one is organizational behavior helps to build healthy and meaningful relationships within the organization. Yes, organizational behavior, the study of people's behavior in the organization, when we deeply dive into the behavior of the individuals, when we study, when we investigate, when we explore the behaviors, it helps us to build healthy and meaningful relationships within the organization. In the organization, employer-employee relationships exist. In a very formal way, superior and subordinate relationship exist. In order to build it in a healthy way, in order to bring a good atmosphere, this study of organizational behavior, if we study the individual behavior on isolated basis, if we study the group behavior, it helps us to craft different roles. It helps us to recruit people for a different and fit the people into different roles. So this is how healthy and meaningful relationships, employer-employee bondings, and superior subordinate relationships can be framed and can be maintained within the organizational context. Next, organizational behavior helps to go for improvement of productivity and efficiency. How productivity actually can be increased within the organization? If you come to understand the behavioral patterns, or if you come to understand the psychological aspects of how your team behaves in the organization, how the individuals behave in the organization, it will be easy for us to improve the productivity levels. Say for example, there might be a person your own teammate, where if a task is assigned for them, instead of taking too much time, they may quickly do the task. So if at all you want to go for more productivity, and if at all you just want to go for improvement in productivity levels of that concerned person, you may assign more tasks. If only we can study the behavior of that particular individual, if only we understand the caliber and the capability, potentiality of the concerned individual, we can assign more tasks for them. We can assign challenged task for the people, and this is how we can improve the productivity. And not only that, productivity can be increased by helping the individuals, offering more resources for the person who can, by making just a distribution of resources for the person, and this is how productivity levels can be increased. And what is this efficiency? Efficiency in the sense means avoiding wastage, as well as avoiding duplication of effort for the same work, and also the best usage of organizational resources. See, human being is also one of the most precious asset in the organization, and human resources in the organization should not kept idle. They should be well utilized. They should be effectively utilized up to the maximum extent, and this is what we call as efficiency improvement within the organization. If we understand the behavior of the individuals, no wastage, no idle resources are kept in terms of human resources. So the study of organizational behavior helps a manager to engage the HR that is available, to utilize them up to the maximum extent. Organizational behavior helps to create a positive work environment. Yes, when we go for deeper insights into the studying of human behavioral studies, it helps us to understand the personality, attitude of the concerned individuals or groups within the organization. It helps to go for supportive work culture. It helps to foster and create positive work environment within the organization. Enhanced communication can be, one can go for, and being a manager, one can foster on enhancing team effort, teamwork, as well as mutual respect for one another, improve leadership effectiveness, and improve especially productivity levels also. Morale as well as job satisfaction levels can also be improved by just creating a positive and fostering on good work environmental within the organization. Next one, the study of organizational behavior, how it is helpful for us practically, and what is the practical usage of it when it comes for adaptability to change. The term change in this particular point is of utmost significance, because change is something which is inevitable for each and every individual. Change is something which happens and where we cannot escape from change. Even the same is the case with the organizations too. See, dear students, when the organization want to go for next level of shift, next level of increased productivity, or a higher level of enhanced volumes of sale, or if at all want to go for more production units, producing of more number of units, definitely they go for changed management practices. Definitely they try to introduce changed management practices, might be in terms of production, might be in terms of technology, might be in terms of increasing in sales volume, or whatsoever it might be. If at all they want to shift for next level, that is higher level, they obviously look for introducing change. They obviously look for change management practices to be introduced in the organization. And when it comes for people, if only in case of some organizations, people highly resist the change because of their own insecureness, or might be their own thing. They might reject or show less interest for adaptability of change. If you people come to know about your own teammates' behavior, it is easy for us, being a team manager or being a superior, it will be easy for us to mold them, or to adjust our own teammates to the frequencies of the levels of change, because it suits the organization. Because organization, for them, introduction of change management practices is inevitable. It is on the part of this, that being a superior, we have to adjust the frequency of our concerned teammates to the changes, and asking them to go for adaptability of the change, because it is inevitable, and we have to go through positive changes whenever change happens in the work environment or a business related environment and all. And even we can ask them to get adjusted for it, or adapt the change for their positive growth and all, for their individual growth as well as organizational growth too. So when it comes for adaptability change, being a manager, when we study about the organizational behavior, it helps them to embrace the changes that happen and adapt the changes that happen from time to time. Next one, study of organizational behavior. Another point of practical significance is that it helps us to handle the complexities that happen within the organization. By studying the behavior of the individuals, being a superior or being a manager or being a team head, one come to know about the complex interactions, the complexities that arise during the times of different levels of situations, different levels of circumstances when the organization go through. Helps a superior to understand the complex interactions as well as the complexities, from what source, what are all the deep-rooted sources from where conflict arises between and among the group, and also from where a communication breakdown has happened. And in order to erase this particular complexity, any communication gap has arisen, or any communication breakdown has arisen, or whenever complex interactions are happening within the organization or within the groups, how to handle it. It will be so easy for the concerned superior to handle the disagreements too, as well as to diagnose various issues of complexities much before they become escalated and much before they create more friction into the organization. Yes, the study of organizational behavior helps the team head or helps the management to handle the complexities in a well effective manner. Next point of significance of practical usage. Organizational behavior helps for employee motivation. Yes, not all the people working for the organization, not all the individuals working for the organization, their needs are not common. Might be some look for monetary incentives, might be some look for other incentives, might be some look for non-monetary incentives. Say, for example, when we want to motivate a particular individual, it is on the part of that what is their exact need. We have to trace out. Some look for work recognition, some might look for increment, some might look for rewards, awards, recognition, work recognition and all. So if only we study the behavior of the individual, if only we study the mindset of the individual, it will be helpful for us to trace out what motivational technique actually helps the individual, through what motivational technique we can best motivate the individual working for our concern. So more tailored on individual to individual basis motivational techniques can be used in order to get the things done, and in order to especially motivate the employees to get the things done. Organizational behavior helps for conflict resolution strategies. Yes, the study of OB obviously helps to identify any conflicts that has been arising between and among the teams or groups. Not only just studying, by understanding the nature of individuals, by understanding the personality traits of individual, by understanding the behaviors, by studying the behaviors, by exploring the behaviors of individuals, personalities, attitudes, by especially enhances the listening skills for the superior. So being a superior, he can listen to, whenever conflict arises, he can listen to both the parties that are involved in conflict. And not only that, it helps the concerned manager to equip knowledge and go for more constructive conflict management strategies that are helpful in order to resolve the issue. And not only that, even when enhanced listening skills are improved by the concerned superior, it helps the superior to go for acting as a mediator or acting as a reconciliation, acting as an expert of reconciliation. He tries to ask the concerned conflicting team members to come back and go for a common understanding. So this is how he can act as a mediator, he can act as a negotiator. And not only that, it helps, the study of OB provides a framework or mechanism where constructive conflict resolution strategies can be crafted depending upon the situation, depending upon the conflict that has arisen, depending upon the circumstance they are into. And next one is, and the last one to say, leadership development. Organizational behavior also is helpful for exploring more of leadership style which suits one superior and which suits the organizational needs. Say for example, transactional mode of leadership style, which a manager can adopt. In this particular transactional style of leadership, it is called as reward based leadership style, where the manager puts some rewards in front of the concerned teammates or concerned group, ask the people to go for perform, and after completion of which the concerned reward based incentives will be declared. And when we notice this particular leadership style, if only we understand the behavior of the individual, if only we explore, if only we go for and make a scientific research and analysis of the behaviors, predicting the behaviors, it will be helpful for us to make them reach the targets, to make them go for goal achievement and all. So this particular transformational style of leadership is but more structured in nature, where we notice the deadlines of completion of the task, where we notice a set of tasks being assigned to the individuals, after completion of which reward system will be announced. Achievements, awards or rewards will be given. Along with that, some financial, if at all prior which is attached to the achievement of targets. So both are fixed together, both travel together. Attachment of rewards will be done with a set of activities has to be completed and much before the deadlines. So the points of significance, when we notice, we all have the above said points. And yes, with this my session, I'm just going to complete my session, and thank you one and all. Thanks for listening.